because this is the main age group which I think that Indian football is missing an infrastructure of football. If you
Yeah.
look at a European player move with the ball and you look at an Indian player moving with the ball, there's a big difference.
Difference. Exactly.
Yeah,
Yes.
you see that when an Indian European player is moving with the ball, it looks like the ball is part of his body. They
Yes.
look like one person, yeah? And that is something that I think a lot of Indian players miss out with the youth football, and that is where I think the main difference comes. Yeah, the youth football infrastructure is very wide and it's very good. They also have for youth football five divisions, five different divisions just for youth football.
Welcome to the seventh episode of the IKF Workshop Diaries. Today we have a special guest with us. It is Saurabh Singh, the founder and head of distribution at SportsMate 360. Saurabh has been at the forefront of driving sports development, especially football, through his innovative platform SportsMate 360, which focuses on empowering athletes and creating pathways for young talent. With years of experience and a deep passion for football, Saurabh has played a crucial role in building strong collaborations with key football organizations worldwide, including a vital partnership with India Khelo Football IKF. And today we are going to discuss everything related to SportsMate 360, Saurabh's role, and then we will discuss Polish football, Indian football, and the collaboration with IKF. So welcome, Saurabh, to this podcast. Any words that you would like to add?
Hi, thanks for having me, and I'm just excited to speak about the collaboration that we have with India Khelo Football, and also make it we've been Sportsman 360 is a big agency right now in Europe, and to let other people know about it is also a good opportunity for us to let the Indian footballers know what we are doing and what we've achieved.
Yeah. So just starting off, just wanted to ask you, what is SportsMate 360 so that the viewers know about what exactly is this organization or agency about, or this football academy about?
Yeah, so Sportsman 360 is basically is an agency, a football agency. We are managing and representing players in Europe, professional players playing in different leagues in Poland and Germany. If you look at the background, one of our players' jersey is also there. His name is Jakub Bernacik. He used to play for Bayern Leverkusen, and currently he's playing in the second division in Poland. So we manage various players like this, and eventually, after as we've been in the business, we found out a lot of young non-European players wanted to come to Europe. So we came up with the concept of SportsMate 360 Academy, which is based in Poland, and which is the project that we are working together with India Khelo Football on as well.
Yeah. So just before diving deep into SportsMate 360 mission and vision, just wanted to ask that what is your role into SportsMate 360, and when did you come up with this idea that I have to create SportsMate 360?
Yeah, no, it's like this. So obviously, I'm the co-founder together with my good friend Jan Navrat. Basically, how the idea came about was I used to play football myself, and I love the game. Like every one of us, were trying to lift the Indian football scene. Uh, so I was playing football, and then I wanted to be a professional footballer as well, but I did not, I think, have the right infrastructure or opportunities when I was young. So I ended up, getting into studies more and had to
Yeah.
give up on the dream of becoming a professional footballer.
Yeah.
But yeah, eventually I started working again in the different football, you can say the football industry. And a lot of my friends that played with me, they currently are playing in ISL as well. And I got into talking with them, and I found out that most of them ended up going to Spain, Germany, these countries when they were younger. Spent 4 years there. They wanted to play higher there, but could not because there were a lot of restrictions for Indian players with the signing and all this. And they eventually came back to India to play here in ISL or I League. So I thought of an idea why we cannot give opportunity to our players to play in Europe at a good level. What is
Yeah.
the problem? So we did our research. What was the problem? Then I, gave talked to my friend Jan about the idea, and we
Mm.
figured out that okay, this is something that we can have a solution for. We can fix this problem, and
Yeah.
this is how we started Sportsman 360 in Poland.
Yeah. And just like I mentioned, talking about the mission and vision. So can you let us know about the mission and vision of SportsMate 360?
Yeah, so the vision is simple. Yeah, we want to give opportunities to all non-European players. Now, these are players who are coming outside of India. Yeah, these are players who are coming outside of Europe. So players from India, America, Canada, Africa, and other various Asian countries. We get players from all around the world that have the ambition that they want to play in Europe. But unfortunately, not all of them have a accessibility to a platform that can give them a genuine opportunity, and that is something that Sportswear 360 is trying to do and change as well in the European football scene.
Yeah. And talking about the European footballers and the non-European footballers, so is there a major difference in between these players, or there is some differences?
Look, I would say it depends on which country the non-European footballer is coming from. I think if you
Hmm.
compare an Indian player with a European player, there is a vast difference, a big gap, and this gap
Hmm.
mainly comes between the age of 13 to 18, because this is the
Hmm.
main age group which I think that Indian football is missing an infrastructure of football. That we do not have an
Hmm.
infrastructure that can support a player from the age of 13 till the age of 18. And I think that
Yes.
that infrastructure exists in Europe, and the players during this period, this is the main development period. This is the main developing age of a player to a professional footballer, and that is
Yeah.
something that they are experts in, and that's something they are able to provide to all the players. So I think,
Yeah.
yeah, it depends on which kind of infrastructure they are coming from and what kind of trainings they had. So every player has a different kind of, you can say, difference in the level of compared to a European player.
Yeah. And talking about, I was visiting your website, and there I found there is a special section as to why Poland. And you have explained it quite nicely that,
Yes.
Poland is still a small developing country in football, if we talk about. But my question is to you is there are other nations as well which are, not yet developed in football, like
Mhm.
Croatia. Croatia now is developing, of course, but
Yeah.
at that point, Croatia still was not developed. Then we have got Switzerland. Belgium
Yeah.
still is developing. So why
Mhm.
Poland? Means why the focus on Poland?
Look, obviously it depends, because at the end, football is not just about talent anymore. It's also about having connections. Yeah, because this is
Yeah.
why you have agents in football. Yeah,
Hmm.
and agents' roles are to have those connections where they can help the players. And we
Yeah.
have the strongest connections in Poland. Obviously, other European countries, like I always say to our players, also to any parent or any player I talk to, I always tell them that other countries like Croatia, Latvia, Lithuania, these are also great choices for a non-European player to start in, to get into
Yeah.
the professional system in Europe. But at
Hmm.
the end, you need to know if the agent that is working there, does he have good connections to work to provide you this pathway. And that is something
Yeah.
that we are able to do in Poland. And this is the main reason, why we have those connections, we have those number of clubs that we are working with, where they are open to giving opportunities to non-European players. So this is one of the main reasons why we chose Poland. Obviously, there are other countries, but we had to choose where we have the strongest connections, and that was Poland.
Yeah. Yeah. And talking about Sportsmate 360, it must have evolved over the years. So how has the evolution been, and how do you plan to evolve it in the future?
Like Sportsman 360 is still fairly new in the market, I would say. The project has been going on for almost, we're starting a third year now. It's not been a
Yeah.
long time. And
Hmm.
within this period, we've signed about 15 plus players to different clubs,
Wow,
which is, I
that's great.
think, also a good number, that,
Hmm.
something to be proud of as well. Uh, when we started, I think it was just three players we started with. There was
Yeah.
one Indian player, one player from Australia, and one player from America. And
Hmm.
from there, it has evolved a lot. We are in a currently we have about 32 players in the program,
Yeah.
out of which 15 players are already playing for a club as well, and
Ah,
15 players are still trying to get into clubs, because it's a journey. Yeah.
yeah.
So we've evolved a lot in terms of training opportunities and everything. And obviously, the next step, what we are also planning to do, is buy our own club as well in Poland. But that is
Yeah.
something for the future. I would not give anything away yet. It's something that we are planning to do in the next season, in the coming seasons. But yeah,
Yeah.
so that is what's going on right now with SportsMate.
And just like you mentioned that there are programs for each footballer. And
Yeah.
as I was visiting your website, I noticed there is, three type of programs. If I'm not wrong, it's half season, full season, and there is 3 months or 2 months. If I'm not wrong. So
It's
can you give us more about the programs of Sportsman 360?
Yeah. So look, it's like this also. There are two types of players that are looking to come over to Europe. This is what we saw with the players' request or players' demands. Yeah. One type of
Hmm.
player is player who wants to have development. These are young players who want to develop their game and then want to get into clubs. Then there is a
Yeah.
second type of player which are looking for opportunities directly in Europe, because they think they are
Hmm.
ready for professional football, or they've already been in an international academy system in Spain, Germany, or UK somewhere. Yeah.
Hmm.
So this is why we developed three different programs. The 3 month program is more for the second type of player, the players who are looking for opportunities. In this
Hmm.
program, we directly tell the players that this is for players who are experienced. These are players who already played some time in Europe. They have that experience, or they are coming from a very good system in their own country. So maybe in the top three divisions of their own country they've played in, then they can come take part in a 3 month program. The idea around the 3 month program is that we continue supporting the development of the player through our UEFA licensed coaches. And additional to that, we get them showcase games against top professional clubs. If you look at our Instagram, last month we played three extra class clubs. These are three top division clubs in Poland, and we played them in 1 week. So all our players got the
Yeah.
opportunity to show themselves to such top clubs. And we also played against Borussia Dortmund Academy, which is another great opportunity for players to show themselves.
Yeah.
So this is more about giving the players quick opportunities in a short period of time, assuming obviously that these are players who are ready for the level. And then we have a 6 and 10 month program. This is for players who are looking for development. These are young players, because at the end there is a big difference between the European level and the level outside of Europe. And players that are coming to
Exactly.
Europe, they need time to adjust to this level. Because
Hmm.
football is a marathon. It's not a race. It's not a 100-meter sprint that you can finish now. It's a marathon. It's
Yeah.
a long journey,
Hmm.
and it takes time. So yeah, this is
Hmm.
more for players who need development. And in this program, we've had also the most success. Most of our players that have ended up signing with clubs have come through our 10-month program. And yeah, this is the main difference between the programs. Like I said, so the 6 and 10 month program is more of a development program, and the 3 month program is more of a quick exposure programs for players who've already spent some time in Europe or in a good football infrastructure.
Yeah. And since you previously mentioned that Sportsman 360 is still a young in the market, in the
Yeah,
Polish market or the European market, but since you are still young and in that phase, AI and data analysis and everything is quite in boom.
yeah,
So how is data analysis or video analysis, especially because in football, video analysis is quite a integral part now. So
yeah.
how has that been a part of Sportsman 360, and how has Sportsman 360 implemented it?
So yeah, what we do is we always, obviously we have not implemented AI yet. I think it's still too advanced for us, but let's see. With times, I think it will become easier. But yeah, with the video analysis, it's a very important aspect of the game, not just for the players but also for the coaches, because it helps them see what the players are doing wrong and what they can improve on. And
Yeah.
that is what we really take from. We record our games when we play a lot of games against extra class clubs or second, third, fourth division clubs. We have a GoPro, we record all the games, and after this, the coaches make a session with the players to analyze the game as well. That what could be, different in this situation or what they could have done better. So I think
Hmm.
video analysis plays a very big part, and it has also helped analyzing these games regularly with the players has also helped them, expand the idea of football for them. So it's a very important part in football, I believe.
Yeah. And talking about Poland, Polish football, how has the infrastructure been? Because, compared to Indian football, we are
Yeah,
still lacking in the infrastructure and the opportunities. But talking about Polish football, it is also young, but, they are a driving force in the European football scene, and not just in the European football, the world football scene.
yeah.
So how has the infrastructure and the opportunities been in Poland?
I would say, obviously, people who do not visit Europe, they do not, they cannot make a comment about how the infrastructure is. But I've been here for now almost 2 years. I've seen football myself, and the infrastructure is pretty strong. First of all, they have 10 divisions of football. That is one of the things that India lacks.
Wow.
India, you do not find that deep structure of football. Here you have a
Exactly.
10 divisions of football. First to fifth is almost, so first to four is completely professional. And fifth division is, you can say, is half professional. So somewhere in semi-pro, you can say, because a lot of clubs pay good money in this league as well. And then
Hmm.
sixth, seventh is semi-pro. And then lower than that, everything is amateur. But what it gives you 10 divisions where a player can play according to his level. So if
Hmm.
you're good enough for seven division, you can play seven division. If you're good enough for six, you can play six division. So that's a very big advantage that players are able to get a competitive environment according to their level, because that helps them evolve and go the next step in football. Similarly, with the youth football, and that is where I think the main difference comes. Yeah, the youth football infrastructure is very wide and it's very good. They also have for youth football five divisions, five different divisions just for youth football, and
Hmm.
the top one being CLG, Syria Lyon. It's the biggest one, where you have clubs like Legia Warsaw. All these top clubs, they're under 17, under 18s also playing in this league. So there's a massive difference between the youth football, and that is what we've seen and we are trying to learn from and adapt it, like trying to adapt that system here and trying to adapt the players into that system so that they can get used to it and go step by step to the highest level possible for them.
So talking about the mental and physical conditioning of a footballer. So
Yeah.
how is that in Polish football, and not just Polish football? We talk about Sportsbet 360 in general.
Yeah. So obviously, we need to take care of it a lot, because all these players that are coming to us, they're leaving their homes. It's a big
Exactly.
sacrifice, first of all, to leave
Hmm.
your home and travel thousands of kilometers away to a country, unknown country that you've never been to. So
Exactly.
obviously, one thing that I think that we have been lucky about is that most of the players that have come through, they're mentally strong. They know that this is a sacrifice that they have to make, and this is very important. And obviously, at the end, mental aspect is a very important part of football, because a bad game can affect a player. Yeah,
Exactly.
and they do not have a family to talk to. They have to depend on me or the coaches to talk to about their games and everything. So
Exactly.
that is something we do a lot. Yeah, we are always in conversation with the players. After every game, every player has a conversation with the coach, asking about what he can improve on, what he needs to develop. And the main factor is that the coaches here, they are motivating. We are not here to point out mistakes. We are here
Mm.
to work on the mistakes of the player and strengthen them for the future. This is what is the goal of SportsMate is. Yeah. So
Yeah.
exactly like you said, mental conditioning is a very important aspect, and yeah, SportsMate takes care that all our players feel mentally comfortable. And if they do miss home, we try to make arrangements where they don't. But at the end, it's simple. Yeah, when you're coming to Europe, I always tell the player one thing: be mentally prepared. If you're mentally weak, then I don't think you're ready to come to Europe at all. Yeah, you have to be
Exactly.
first of all mentally ready to take that step.
Yeah. And what has been the most rewarding experience for you as the co-founder of SportsMate 360?
That's a good question. I would say it's mostly the players, the players doing good. As long as my players, they come over and sign contracts, that's the most rewarding thing you can get out of this business. Yeah. We've had a lot
Mm.
of players from USA, India, signing with different clubs. One of our Nigerian player is right now playing for a top club in 4 Liga as well, who went through our program. So
Mm.
it's really good to see that the main thing is that the program works, that what we are
Mm.
trying to do, what our concept is, what our idea is, it is actually working out, and it is actually giving players the opportunities. And when the players, they call you and discuss about their games, what's happening, how many goals they are scoring, or if they are missing out, or they are sitting on the bench, all these things, when you talk to them, you feel happy, because just a small some years ago, these were players who were in different countries playing in their
Mm.
home, but now they're all playing in a professional level. So I think that is one of the most rewarding things out of this project.
Yeah, yeah. And talking about Polish football, and
Yeah.
as I already previously mentioned, that it is also young. But
Yeah.
how has the grassroots been in Poland, grassroots football development? And if it's good, how is it compared to Indian football, the Indian football grassroots?
Yeah. So obviously, the grassroots level in Poland is, I think, way ahead of Indian football right now. Not to
Mm.
criticize Indian football, it's just that they've had more experience and they've had a better infrastructure for it. You just
Mm.
look at all these young players coming out of Poland as well. Robert Lewandowski, as he was 18, he went to sign with Dortmund. Wilfried Szczesny, as he
Mm.
was young, he signed with Arsenal. Nikola Zielinski, yeah, he plays for Roma. He's also from Poland. Came at a
Yeah.
very young age out to Italy. So they are able to produce young players, yeah, and they send them to top clubs in other countries. So that's the main difference. And the major difference, I would say, is also the quality of coaches. That
Yeah.
is a very
Mm.
important thing. Yeah, it's not just about having the infrastructure or having the ground. It's also about having the right coach, because
Mm.
this level requires that you have good coaches who can work on the eye ball coordination for the players, because that is a major thing that I think most of the Indian players that come to us are missing also, is the eye
Mm.
and ball coordination. If you
Yeah.
look at a European player move with the ball and you look at an Indian player moving with the ball, there's a big difference.
Difference. Exactly.
Yeah,
Yes.
you see that
Mm.
when an Indian European player is moving with the ball, it looks like the ball is part of his body.
Mm.
They
Yes.
look like
Exactly.
one person. Yeah? And that is something that I think a lot of Indian players miss out in their younger age, because the coaches, again, it's also, I cannot blame the coaches. I think it's also has to do how the coaches learn it. Yeah, I think that
Mm.
that is a big infrastructure that India is missing. They need to also produce good coaches to produce good players, and I think that is a very very big difference that European football is providing as a whole to their players. That the level of coaches, experience, and what kind of coaches are coming in, they are able to produce these players, because getting a UEFA license is not that easy. It takes
Mm.
a lot of
Exactly.
work and it
Mm.
takes a lot of time. But as you know, I don't want to get into anything related to politics, but it's not that hard to get a AFC license nowadays. And
Mm.
a lot of coaches come in India. You find coaches without license also having 50 players in their academies.
Yeah.
And at the end, I think you see the result. Yeah, that these players, when they are 18, 14, do not have the coordination that you need from a footballer. So I think that's the
Exactly.
biggest difference. Is the quality of coaches.
Yeah. And just talking about, just a question popped up in my mind.
Yeah.
Is Polish football growing because it's a part of Europe, or let me phrase it much easily. If India would have been part of Europe, so would football be growing much more rapidly, because the competition is quite big in Europe. So would have
Yeah.
India progressed forward, or because we lie in Asia, the progress is not that great?
Again, look, if I cannot say it's the continent, because if you look at the continent, you have in Asia Japan as well, and you look
Hmm.
at their players, they are
Yeah,
amazing. Yeah, I
yeah,
think it's more to do with the country itself, what they are doing inside the country. If you can't change what you're doing inside the country, what is happening outside will never affect you. It's as simple
exactly.
as that. And that
Hmm.
is what I think we are missing, is what's happening inside. We do not, we still, we are a country with a huge population. Yeah.
Yeah,
And we are not able to produce 11 players who can play in Europe is a big surprise. And
exactly.
I think that is something, if you look at a country like Croatia with a population of like 3 million, 4 million around this,
It
and
is less than
they,
Mumbai.
less than Mumbai,
Mumbai,
exactly. And
yeah,
they are able to make it to the World Cup finals
exactly,
is
yeah,
a testament in itself. Yeah, that it's not about what other people are doing around you, it's about what you're doing in your own country. And I think
exactly.
that's the biggest thing that we need to change. We need to bring in the infrastructure first.
Yeah, yeah. So, diving more into Indian football scene, because we have already discussed about SportsMate 360, we have discussed about Polish football. Talking
Yeah,
about Indian football, you have players from Indian origin.
yeah.
So, do you find a difference between these players compared to the contrary, the European counterparts, or just they don't have a site, the proper training from
Mhm.
where they come? Is that the issue?
No, obviously it's very evident as well. Most of the players that come from India, you can directly see that there is a big difference between them and a European player in the same age group. Yeah, and it's
Hmm.
at every level.
Yeah,
But again, it's simple. Yeah, if you're coming from an infrastructure which does not support football that much, we are a cricket playing nation. It's clear. We all know that.
yeah,
Uh, and Europeans, they are mostly into football, and basic example that I can give you is also like the coordination. Yeah, if you give a cricket bat to a European guy and tell him play cricket now, he will not start playing in 1 year good, right? He will
yeah,
also need
exactly.
to play 5, 6 years before he actually becomes good. And it's same
Yeah,
with the Indians. Yeah, we are behind them, but it does not mean that we cannot catch up. It's about
mm,
giving that time. When you're coming over to Europe, you need to also be mentally ready to give yourself that time to become
mm,
good. And when
yeah,
these players are able to do that, you see the result as well.
yeah. Hmm. So, talking about India Khelo football, they are doing quite a good job in developing Indian football. As I've been a part of them, I have noticed them developing Indian football. So, how did you notice about the same, and how did you trust IKF, in bringing this collaboration in life?
Yeah. So actually, I've known Hitesh for a long time.
Hmm.
When India Khelo football was starting, I was also a part of it as well. I don't know if you know it, but yeah,
Yeah.
I was with them, and eventually I set out to do my own thing with SportsMate. But
Hmm.
we had a good relationship always, and as I was going to sports, coming over to Poland, Hitesh sir was still there. He's been like a friend, and I always told him that even if when I go out, I still want to continue working together. And this is where, I did. So it was a situation where, it was a win-win for everyone. We had
Yeah.
something that India Kilo football needed. They wanted to bring players to a European country, give them a platform. And we
Hmm.
needed someone who can find us players who are good
Yeah.
enough to come over to Europe. So it was a win-win situation for all of us.
Yeah. So, how was your experience when you were as a part of IKF?
The experience was good because you also get to see what they are trying to change. When
Hmm.
you are on the ground, you see the difference they are trying to make, and you see the problems also that they're trying to solve.
Hmm.
So that was a very push for me as well, that promoted that pushed me to start SportsMate as well. That why I
Hmm.
wanted to bring players to Europe, because when I saw these players coming to India Khelo football, they all are looking for just opportunity. All of the
Hmm.
players, there are talented players in India. Yeah, at this age, if when I was playing, I was not even as good as they are. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I saw that there is a huge talent, but what they are lacking is the opportunity. What can they do with this talent? They do not have a platform, unfortunately. And that
Yeah.
is something that I also wanted to provide them. And I would say, yeah, it played a huge role in bringing the SportsMate idea together and bringing these players over to Europe.
Yeah. And before IKF, just like I noticed, I was, I'm a friend of Aryaman, and I've been in connection with Aryaman. So you have also partnered with Aperios
Yeah,
Sports, yes,
yeah,
for their ID camp. So can you
yes.
give us more details about the same?
Yeah, so Aryaman, as you know, he's playing in Portugal as well.
Hmm.
We connected through, I think, IKF. Yeah, we connected through IKF, and he reached out to us because he's working in Portugal mainly, but
Hmm.
he wanted to, expand. the opportunities for his players as well. And this
Yeah.
is how the idea of him and us working together opened up. And the ID camp we did together with him in Delhi. I think we had about 20 players in the ID camp.
Okay.
And the main idea of the ID camp was to select players who are good enough to take part in SportsMate and also give scholarship. So one of the players that was selected through was Ahan, and he was given a 3 week scholarship where everything was paid for him. And he
Wow.
was here with us in our program. And yeah, he did his 3 weeks with us, and now he's back. And I think he's playing for Mumbai City in the reserve squad. I'm not saying it officially, but I think he's there.
Yeah. Yeah, talking about IKF, they are bringing in their season 4 workshop, and you are a part of it. You have partnered, Sportsmate 360 has partnered with it.
Yeah.
So, what are you looking for from this, workshop, from the season 4 workshop?
Yeah. So it's the same. Yeah, workshop is I think is one of the best things that India Kilo Football has done. They've invited multiple academies, not just European, but also the US colleges are now coming in to select
Hmm.
players. So I think it's a big platform to give players opportunities and makes it easier for academies like SportsMate to handpick players that they see potential in.
Exactly.
That's the basic idea, yeah. And this is what we are very excited about, to see the players when we have the report and select the players that we think that we believe can be a part of SportsMate 360 program and interact with them 1v1. And if everything works out, bring them over to Europe and start the
Hmm.
journey of football in Europe.
Yeah. And what will you look into a football player from this IKF season 4 workshop? Which player will you be looking forward to bring into Sportsman 360?
So obviously, a lot of people might say that they want the best player in
Hmm.
from the workshop, but I would rather take a player who's hardworking
Hmm.
than the best talent, because like I said, I've worked with a lot of players and I've seen, the main thing is you need to have the right attitude to become also a professional footballer.
Yeah.
And that is something that I focus heavily on. And every player that I want to work with, I need a player who can face criticism, who
Hmm.
knows when to be humble, and who does not have a very high ego, who knows that he's coming to Europe to fight for his place, and not that a lot of players have the expectation that they come to Europe and within 1 month they are the best player. It will not happen in Europe. Yeah, it will
Yeah.
take time. So I need players who are obviously. I think most of the players that take part in the workshop are good enough, because IKF has a selection process for everything. So most of the players that end up making to the workshop, they are good enough. What we need to do after that, we need to verify for ourselves which player has the right attitude, which player is willing to work hard, and which player
Hmm.
is willing to listen. And these
Yeah.
are the kind of players that I'm always looking for, because if he's a player who's willing to work hard and listen to us, I'm pretty sure my coaches are good enough to bring him to a good level. And I've seen them do it with all the other Indian players, so I'm pretty sure they would be able to do it with the players from IKF as well.
Yeah. And since Sportsman 360 is a part of IKF Season 4 workshop, so how will you rate the success for Sportsman 360 from this workshop?
Um, I would say it's good. Like we've already had one player from IKF. His
Hmm.
name is Ishant Sharon. He's a goalkeeper,
Yeah.
and he's just 14 years old. And if you look at him, amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's tall. He's 14 years old, but he's tall already. Yeah, He's already played against a lot of top clubs here in Poland as well, and the
Hmm.
coaches are also impressed by his performance.
Hmm.
The main thing is that he's really, like, if you see an Indian player coming to Europe, you see that they are lacking a lot on basic foundations of football.
Exactly.
But Ishant has really worked a good on his basic foundations. Yeah, he's a goalkeeper, and when you see him play, like, one common mistake that I see a lot of goalkeepers make is that when they jump and dive for the ball, they all try to push the ball forward. Yeah,
Ah,
but he
yeah.
will push the ball to the right side, to
Right.
sideways, and that is what you see a European goalkeeper do as well. So these are
Hmm.
little things, that you see here and then that surprise you, and I think this is what is important for me, to find more players like Isha. And
Yeah.
yeah, IKF has given us one player like him, and I think there are many more going to be coming our way soon. So pretty excited to see what happens.
So another question has popped up in my mind, and I just wanted to ask you that, because you just like you mentioned how a goalkeeper dives in Europe and how a hand does the same. So just wanted to ask you, what are the goalkeeping drills that you find suitable in a goalkeeper when you are picking out one for Sportsman 360?
Normally, look, I would not be the best guy to give a answer on this, because I'm not a coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a specific goalkeeper coach for this.
Hmm.
Like I said, because goalkeeper is a different position to all the other 10 players on the field. Yeah, it's a completely
Exactly.
different position. So this is why we also have a different coach dedicated to this, and he's a goalkeeper coach. He's trained with a lot of goalkeepers. He's developed a lot of goalkeepers. So he's the right expert into this. And when we get the videos of goalkeepers, he's the one who goes through the videos, and he
Hmm.
decides if this player is something that we can work with or not. So I think he
Yeah.
would be, unfortunately he's not here, but he would be the right person to give an answer on this.
Yeah, yeah. And just a last question on the IKF, about IKF Season 4 workshop. What are the benefits of the IKF Season 4 workshop? And, once the benefit ends, what kind of feedback, if you have to give to the parents, what kind of feedback would you give?
Look, the main benefit is simple. You get a platform. That's the biggest thing, yeah. That someone is providing you that platform in this age group is
Hmm.
a massive opportunity in India. Yeah. You don't see, unfortunately, the government who should, I think, take the first step, the responsibility to do it that much. But then you see someone like, just for the love of football has created a platform called IKF and is doing this to give players the opportunity. I think is the biggest benefit for all parents, because not only your son or daughter gets to be seen by European coaches, he gets all the exposure that he can get in football. Yeah, you get the European exposure, you get US college exposure, which is also good. It's a good pathway, to
Yeah.
have your studies and football on the side done. So all these exposure you get at one place. You don't have to
Hmm.
like go to different places to try to get something.
Yeah.
And that is the main benefit, I would say. And feedback I would tell the parents is that support your kids. That's the only thing. Yeah. If they are willing
Hmm.
to work hard for football, keep supporting them, because at the end, the end goal is simple. We want to bring one player in the top European league. That is
Yeah.
what my target is with SportsMate. And I think that is what IKF's target is as well, that they want to see one Indian player in the European top five leagues.
Yeah.
So it is possible, and it can be your son, yeah, or your daughter as well. But
Hmm.
you need to support them and keep supporting them.
Yeah. So I guess that brings us to the long question answers. I hope everything's covered. Uh, then we will dive into the blind rankings, the game side. So are you ready? So I'll just explain the rules once.
Okay.
As you must have already seen on social media, that I will be providing it 10 names, and
Okay.
it will be kind of jumbled. Means one after the another I will pronounce, and you have to keep it in an order of 1 to 10. Means if I give a name, if I give an example of cricket, example Virat Kohli, if I say, so from 1 to 10 you have to pick a number and you have to put Virat Kohli into it,
Okay.
as in one, or 2 or 3, as in. So there will be 10 names, and the 10th is the worst, and the first is the best. So
Okay. So
okay,
we are naming football players, right?
yeah, yeah, sure, sure,
Okay.
sure.
Super.
So these are basically players from every era. Means
Okay.
it goes behind till the
Okay.
Cruyff's and Maradona's era. Okay,
Super. Super.
so the first name is Ronaldinho. Where would you put him from 1 to 10?
And it's every era, right?
Yeah,
I would put him number five,
5. Thierry Henry,
8,
Zinedine Zidane,
3.
Paolo Maldini,
Another good player. 4,
Johan Cruyff,
2.
Messi,
First.
Casillas.
Oh, I've put someone sixth,
No, no, no.
so
7.
6. Yeah.
Maradona,
No, the list is bad now. Ninth,
Neymar,
10th,
and CR7 then goes 7th.
7th. Yeah, right place for it. Exactly. 7 is his name, his
Yeah.
number. Yeah.
So I'll just repeat once again.
Yeah.
Your top 10. It is Neymar at 10, Maradona at 9th, Henry at 8th, then CR7 at 7th. It is Casillas at 6th. Then it
Yeah.
is Ronaldinho at 5th, Maldini at 4th, Zidane at 3rd, Cruyff at 2nd, and Messi at 1st. Any one position that you would like to shuffle?
Yeah, I would. Being a Ronaldo fan, I think I have to change just one, and you already know which one I'm talking about.
Yeah, the first one. Yes. So Messi goes 7th then.
Yeah, well, I think the list is already wrong, but I'm happy with it.
Yeah. So that brings us to the end of the episode. Any words that you would like to say for this podcast? How do you like it?
No, I had an amazing time, and I think you're doing a great job. I've seen a lot of your podcast. I've been listening to it, and I really appreciate it, because this is what we need to do. We need to do everything we can to bring Indian football up.
Yeah.
And you taking this time to share stories about what IKF is doing or what other academies who are trying to help Indian players are doing. I think it really pushes the agenda that we want to bring Indian football to a higher level.
Yeah.
And yeah, keep doing what you're doing, and I think it will just keep getting bigger.
Yeah, thank you. And I'm hopeful that Sportsmet 360 also makes it big. So that brings us to the end of the episode. It was great talking to you, Saurabh, the co-founder of Sportsmet 360. And once again, I would like to request everyone to register for the workshop, for the IKF workshop as soon as possible, and be in touch with the IKF social media handles, the Sportsmet 360 social media handles, because they will be bringing in Indian footballers. They will be in search of Indian footballers. So yeah, that brings us to the end of the episode. Once again, thank you everyone for listening this episode. It is Atawaris Farsi, the founder and presenter of All About Football, signing off. Thank you.